Good morning, guys. First off, it is fantastic outside. So if you have the opportunity, go outside right now. It is amazing. It definitely feels like fall. Last night I was walking with Kurt and Hank, and I was like, it feels like fall. You feel the sharpness in the air. So, unrelated to dogs, but it's really, really nice outside. And your dogs would appreciate being outside. And you would probably appreciate being outside because it's not like you're melting. So, there's your weather report from Candid Canines. Today, to continue our talks about dog body language, I just want to talk about the concepts of compression and flexion, and stiffness and activation. And you can see all of these things in one dog or different dogs, but they're generally going to be coming mostly from two types of dogs. So the first dog is the compressed dog. So when I say compression, they melt, they wither, they go down. Usually you'll see this in times of stress or fear or startle. They go in, they go backwards. They're compressing to go away from the situation. And usually this is from a lack of confidence, or in general, a personality type that is more inclined to leave a situation than to go towards a situation. Fight or flight, this is more likely to be flight. But you can have a dog who's very confident who will still compress, and it's their way of saying, like, oh, I don't like this. Maybe it's when you've come home and you've discovered that they've eaten 5 Q-tips, for instance. And you go, oh, you ate Q-tips. And they go, oh, I didn't mean to eat the Q-tips. They just taste so good, right? That's compression. And it's that in particular, the one I just said about the Q-tips, is also an appeasement behavior. So, side note, when you're inclined to say, you know he knows, because he feels guilty, he's not feeling guilty. That's called appeasement behavior, and dogs do that when you, the human, are being, for lack of a better word, a jerk, right? So, and you may not be intending to be that way, but if you come home and you're Claire and you go, you ate 5 Q-tips, for a dog like Chico, that's like the worst thing that I could have done for him. Well, there's a lot of things that could have been worse, but from his perspective, mommy being disappointed and a little annoyed is like the end of the world, right? So I'm not screaming at him, I'm not yelling, I'm not punishing him, I'm not saying, bad dog, you're a bad dog, Chico. Never. I would never say that. But even my mild exasperation could be enough for him to go, ugh. And that's compression. So that's appeasement behavior. Dogs don't feel guilt. They say, ooh, you're being intense. How do I appease you so you feel better? They don't say, I'm bad because I ate a Q-tip. Chico ate a lot of Q-tips at my mom's house. It's okay, Mom. Q-tips happen. And then had some Q-tip related digestional difficulties. And then yesterday found a Q-tip in my house. And I was just like, how did you get this? You know, like, this stuff happens. But he didn't feel guilt about the Q-tips. He doesn't go, Q-tips are the problem. Me eating Q-tips and then having digestional issues about Q-tips is the problem. He says, mommy being intense, mommy being disappointed, mommy going, is too much. So there's your compression. And if you ever see an animal really put on the brakes like that, or really suddenly gravity has them real hard, or maybe they full on roll over and show their belly, that's all compression, and specifically with the belly is a submissive behavior. So I don't pet dogs who show me their bellies when I'm standing over them, because I don't need them to feel like they have to be submissive to me. That's not how this relationship works. And if I'm coming in intense enough that you feel that you have to flop over like that, I need to change my behavior because you don't need to feel that way. Hey, Chi-Chi, what is that? Hi, handsome. What are you eating? You eating a pecan? Sorry, life with a chihuahua. Life with a little boy. Yeah, come here. Hi, Doodle. Hi, Doodle. Oh, such a kisses. Oh, my goodness. I was trying to do a video, but this is fine. Totally fine. Okay, thank you. Okay. Mommy doing a video. Thank you, boys. So that's the compression. And if you see somebody doing this, you know, it's because they're feeling tension. It's because it's going too much. And that compression is pulling them down into a flight mode. Even if they're not actively leaving, it's still, it's a sign of too much. They can even do it when they're excited. You come home and I'm really excited to see you, but I'm getting really close to the ground. That's a conflicted behavior because they're excited, but they're also feeling really intense, so they're shrinking down. When you see that, I usually try to bolster these dogs up, and I don't feed into the worry, but I try to say, yeah, we're doing a great job. Oh, you're so smart. And I do as much as I can to help them stand back up. I'm not going to physically touch them because that could probably add to the pressure, but I am going to support them, get a cookie, something. And if you see a dog out in public doing this, I usually don't pet or physically interact with dogs who are showing these conflicted body language because I don't think it's fair. I need you to decide if you want to be petted, and if you're not certain, I don't need to pet you. You can have as much time as you need to think about it and decide whether or not it's something that you do find enjoyable. Then there is the activation side, and a lot of you will probably have seen this in the yard with a squirrel or the toy or the ball, and it's when your dog starts going up onto the tops of their toes, and they're reaching forward, and they're standing taller, and they're going towards whatever it is that's exciting them. So Sadie will see the squirrel and then stand and orient towards it and then run, right? So that's the activation. And I say this with like a toy or a squirrel, but you can see it with people, you could see it with other dogs, and you could see it with other dogs in a good way, or you could see it with another dog in a bad way. Activation and compression both are just body language cues to give you an idea that something's going on. Then you have to tease out, what is that something that's going on? Is this a fear response? Is this an aggressive response? Is this an excited response? Is this a predatory response? What's going on? Why is my dog activating or compressing? Joint flexion is the other thing I wanted to talk about. If I'm super activated and I'm staring at something and I've got the stiff leg and I'm like really going, sometimes we call it like the little prance or the little trot, when they're real tight. The spine is real tight and the joints are not flexing. The ankle and the elbow are pretty locked. So they've got a particularly bouncy way of going because the joint is not absorbing, right? That's a lot more activation. You can be activated or you can be activated and stiff. And the stiffening, we talked about stiffening in our last video, is something to really have on your radar of like you're going way over onto arousal, and it may not be productive arousal, or it may be predatory, or it may be aggression, or it may just be hypervigilance. If your dog is activated, but they've got the cute flirty trot, and they've got the loose spine, and they're wiggling around, they're just excited, or they're just awake and ready, right? The loose flexion in the joints is relaxation. Not relaxation, but normal, baseline. You should see joint flexion. I shouldn't be so intense that my movements are stiff. Have you ever been so, probably not excited, but have you ever been so frustrated that no matter what you do, you kind of talk like this with a tighter voice because you can't open your jaw because you're like frustrated? You know, or like you just can't help it, but you're turning real sharply, or you're just really tense. That's what that tension is. And so if your dog is lacking flexion in the joints, A, is it a medical problem, or B, are they so up, so intense that they are actually locking their joints in this kind of flight or fight mode, going towards the fight mode? And you can do this with a squirrel, you can do this with a toy even. It doesn't mean good or bad, it's just body language that you need to say, you're real stiff. You're not moving your spine a lot. Oh, you're really, really looking at that other dog. And go, okay, those are a lot of cues that Claire talked about, and what does this mean? Maybe he's really excited about the other dog. Maybe it's more than excitement. Maybe we have a problem on our hands. Maybe the other dog is saying something super rude that we can't see because, you know, we don't speak dog. Or maybe we look at the other dog coming at us and they're really tight and they're walking like they're on, you know, high heels because they're so tense, and the owner's going, he's friendly, and I'm going to go, I gotta go. I can't do this. I don't need to have a conversation with every person about their dog and what the body language means, but I can spot trouble and say, even though you say he's friendly, I know more. Of course, I know more, but you can know more too. The average dog owner doesn't know a lot about dog body language and what's going on with their pets, and they think they might know their dogs, but sometimes they don't. Maybe they're oblivious, maybe they've heard or watched TV shows and gotten poor information, so they think they know something, or maybe they are just a glass half full kind of person, like he attacked the last guy, but this time it'll be great. whatever it is, you see that body language coming towards you, you leave. And you don't have to have a conversation with the person. You can give them my card if you want. But those are kind of the things that I keep on my radar. So flexion in the joints, tension in the joints, activation, compression. Those are all things, and they're full body things. You can't, it's not just ears, it's not just toes, it's everything. The whole body compresses, the whole body activates. So I hope this video was helpful for everybody, and I hope everybody gets to go outside while the morning is wonderful. And have a great Thursday. Bye.